one of the elements of the health of our marriage is if my wife is at home when I get there. It was an empty expectation like that. Her being home never really showed that it was going to improve our marriage.
Obviously, there's a lot that comes with her already being home.
Sure.
So dinner will be ready.
Well, I didn't even have that expectation, bro.
Really?
I didn't have that.
She
no.
just at the house.
She got to be there.
Staring at the wall.
Yeah. There was something about that, honey, I'm home feeling that did something for me.
That was the source of the friction that occurred in y'all's marriage.
That was one.
Unrealized expectations.
Unvoiced expectations.
Yeah.
I got a responsibility, as silly as it sounds, I still got a responsibility to her to say, hey, look, this is an expectation I have.
This is Caesar Walker, the cool, calm, collected one.
And I'm Ronnie Gatry, the emotional one.
And we are the Tipping Point Podcast, your source for the black male's perspective.
Tipping Point Podcast.
Probably if
You
talk
said
a
that
bit
before.
longer, he'll probably know if he keep talking.
You've said that before about certain people.
And you've known them.
I can't say that I have.
Okay.
You let me know when you're ready, Black.
Okay. It just seemed like Gat is like a little bit in the shadows, but I think he likes it because it's dramatic.
I'm here for the drama and nothing else.
So you're not gonna use those lights behind y'all at all?
They're not charged. If y'all want the truth.
So it was an operational decision.
Yes.
Okay.
They would probably die about 10, 12 minutes.
Okay. But
We'll cut to the chase.
I mean the light. I mean it's getting you good.
Okay, thank you.
It's just that is a shadow behind you. Ready when you are.
Peace and blessings, everyone. We want to welcome you to the latest and greatest episode. Shout out to all of our listeners and viewers, both new and old. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. Gentlemen, this is more than likely our last recording of the year. How are we doing? Happy holidays to each and every one of you.
Well, I'm in high gear right now, Walker, but I think everyone is, so nothing really new to report there.
Done shopping?
No. I was
Me
telling
either.
Black that pre-pod.
Me either.
Dude, I saw something online that said, Amazon can't save you now. You got to go local.
Hilarious.
That means gift cards.
Truer memes have never been posted.
Yeah, you got to put in an appearance.
So if you're looking for me, I'll be local. But yeah.
Oof, the stress of it all.
Oh man.
You can be at the gift card station at the Walmart.
Yeah, I'm gonna be somewhere. Sheesh. But we're gonna make it do what it do.
Do you and your wife exchange gifts with each other still?
We do one gift.
We don't.
Really?
We don't.
Yeah.
But my wife is not a big, but in the same sense, like each year she'll ask me, do you have anything you want for Christmas? And I'm like, I can't think of anything. I really can't. Like, we're at that age now where we just get it ourselves.
Exactly.
Merry Christmas to me, Merry Christmas to you. Enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where we are. I mean, the good thing about my wife is she tells me what she wants. And we've done the one gift thing. We're trying to work to an experiential gift that both of us can share, like a trip.
Oh, okay. One that y'all share together.
Yeah, a spa visit, something like that. You know what I mean? Because like to your point, the tangible stuff.
I like that idea. I actually like that idea a lot.
The first one's free, Walker. The next one's going to cost you.
I would pay for that first one. That was pretty amazing there. I like that.
I did see a gift, and I thought that'd probably be perfect for Gat. Have you ever heard of Sneaker Throne? When they have those customized shoe cases for your shoes with lights and all that kind of stuff. Now, the thing is, they have one that's designed for golf bags and stuff now. That's what I said.
Welcome back to the chat, Black.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, they got it for like.
And we're back.
Drop that link in the comments. I need to see that.
It's like like you have like your mud
Hilarious.
room. It's almost like it'll fit into your mud room, and you can like put your golf clubs and stuff, gear and all of it, and it's like a little like section if you want to add it.
Okay. That I'm interested in.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Listen, Gat's a busy guy. Like, this is going to be our shortest recording in the history
Speed
of
pod.
Yes.
This is gonna be a reel we recording.
Right. We have a topic. Black has it queued up and is going to summarize it for us.
Even check.
So,
right?
as I scroll
You're
through.
right. We didn't even check on him. hey, listen.
He's
you
trying-
already know the answer. You already know the answer. You already know that he's good.
My brother could be in distress right now. This is gonna be the one episode.
But he wouldn't tell us. I'm good. ... and struggle.
Right.
That part he keeps to himself.
True.
Yeah, he's good. Everyone
Okay.
Black is good. All right, Black, get to it.
So I was scrolling through YouTube and something popped up on my feed, and it was one of those TED Talks. And this TED Talk involved a Stephanie R. Yates, and I believe she's like a marriage counselor. And the topic was your relationship expectations could be holding you back. And she was talking about certain situations where she's encountered with her clients. And the one that like popped out to me was like there was this couple, and they were engaged. They may have gotten married, but they started to live together. And the situation was he had no kids, and she had like 2 teenage kids. So when they moved in together, there was a lot of conflict and chaos. Like, you know, as a man, he was trying to make rules with the house, and they were like the teenagers were rebelling against it, and like they were pretty much about to call it quits. And they talked to the counselor, and the counselor like suggested that it's not what you would normally see in like a relationship that would make a relationship work, but what she suggested was that they live apart for a while. So the guy ended up getting like an apartment close to where the woman and the children lived, and it ended up working out for them because they would get excited about planning what they were going to do like for the weekend, during the week, and things like that. And it worked for them until the kids moved out. But like the overall point of her talk was just that sometimes people look at relationships and have expectations like, if you see this as a red flag, if you see that's a red flag, but it's like, this may be a red flag, them living apart, but it was also the thing that helped them stay together. So sometimes you got to think outside the box, like what works better for your relationship and not what society expects you to do in a relationship to make it successful.
Yeah. And I'll just share, like, I was a fan of this topic just because I guess now I'm pretty outspoken about our relationship, our marriage with my wife and I. And like one of the biggest things I came into our marriage with was expectations that society set. And there was a way that you're supposed to look when you're out in public. There's an image you're supposed to portray. And that was based on stuff that I had seen in my social circles. And I guess my biggest issue was I could not articulate that expectation to her. I would not articulate that expectation to her. It was like an unvoiced expectation that when things didn't look or feel the way that I thought they should be, I would just combust without saying, hey, look, I think our marriage needs to look, feel, and act like this. And that's another conversation about, like, you know, being man enough to share, you know, what your expectations are. But on the part that I'm going to harp on this conversation is the question I had to ask myself, or to be really real, our marriage counseling couple had to ask me was, what's your expectation for the marriage? Like, what do you want it to look, feel, and act like? And that was hard for me to say. But long story short, in putting in the work, the time, asking the questions, developing the thoughts, and sharing and listening, doing more listening than anything, I found out that what works for my wife and I doesn't seem conventional based off what I had set, that unvoiced expectation at first.
Can you give an example?
Yeah. Like one of the common things was just like, I expected my wife to be home when I got there. I expected that. But like, I didn't take into account the totality of what my wife does for a living. And while it's not impossible, I found out that it wasn't really realistic because there were some things that happens with my wife professionally that's outside of her control. And that may lead to hey, I'm going to be home a few minutes later or an hour later or sometimes 2 hours later, depending on what's going on with my wife being the medical profession. And that like me finally taking the time to listen and understand that gave me clarity. But that was one of the expectations. Like, honestly, growing up, I wasn't in a household like that. Yeah.
I was gonna let you finish, but I have a question for you.
Okay. I wasn't even in a household like that. But like, to me, my mindset was, well, our marriage is going to be healthy. One of the elements of the health of our marriage is if my wife is at home when I get there. It was an empty expectation. Like that, her being home never really showed that it was going to improve our marriage. That was just something aesthetic that I wanted.
Obviously, there's a lot that comes with her already being home.
Sure.
So dinner will be ready.
Well, I didn't even have that expectation, bro.
Really?
I didn't have that.
She
no.
just at the house.
She got to be there.
Staring at the wall.
Yeah.
For all we know.
Because the best I could articulate was there was something about that, honey, I'm home feeling that did something for me. And that took months to unpack and get to the root of it in counseling, man. Like, there was something about that. As empty as it is, there was something about that piqued my interest and generated an unvoiced expectation.
So that was the source of the friction that occurred in y'all's marriage.
That was one. You told me to give you an example. I gave you one. But again,
I'm just saying,
I don't.
Expectations,
yeah,
unrealized expectations,
unvoiced expectations.
Yes.
So like, I want to harp on that part too, because it's like I got a responsibility. As silly as it sounds, I still got a responsibility to her to say, "Hey, look, this is an expectation I have."
Yeah. Black had a question.
So it could be both of y'all can answer this, but you know, when you got married and you had in your mind like you were gonna have kids, what were your expectations of like kids and a relationship and how your house would work with those kids and what you would be doing, how you would be involved before you had kids and now that you have kids? And was some of that kind of like based on societal norms? So I was kind of curious, like, how was it before and after, and were there differences that you realized or changes that you needed to make in the process?
I got a lot here, but I got to share this mic. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, we had an idea of how we think it was going to go. We had our first child after being married 10 years. So you're going to build up a whole ideology of what parenting is going to look like as in relation to our marriage, right? And them kids don't care nothing about that.
Screw your plans.
Yeah.
Could you be a little more honest with that?
The reason why my voice is baritone is because I ain't get a lot of sleep last night. Like,
who's in charge, man?
I thought I was. I really thought I was. But no, but that's an example of it, is because the things that I envision doing, and that's not to say that we can't get back to it. We're just in that period of where the baby's transitioning to toddler, she's changing. So with every development part of her, you can relate to this. When a child is growing and changing, like what you got into a rhythm of doing, it's out the window. So it's just like you're in shock. You know what I mean? I didn't anticipate being in shock as much as parents. The thing that has helped us is we do have a date night. It looks so different, though. It looks so different than what we're accustomed to. So much so that when we have a date night that resembles, something don't even feel right about it.
Like pre-child date
yeah.
versus...
Like when we get into that, it's like some feels missing. It's like something, you know what I mean? So that's how much we've been shocked into this new reality. So we have talked a lot to each other. We've had moments where we're like, yo, I'm not cool with this. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, what can we do to at least, I'm not saying get things back, but how do we navigate and we're in a good place? And I think we're absolutely good, but it was again, the shock of it all, because it's like, I don't even recognize the two people that existed before kids. I don't know who those people are, right? So it can be scary because you're like, I don't know if I even like this, right? So when you talk about expectations, man, like we have had to talk our way through that because there's no way you can predict that on the front end of a marriage or relationship. You have to get in a practice of already talking to each other already. And that has to kick in when kids come along. Okay, what system works for you? Hey, I don't really know how to do this. I don't feel comfortable doing this with a child. Can you help me, show me, do this and that? Can you, we put together a system. So we've managed to navigate that in the first almost 2 years of our daughter's life. Crazy to say that, but yeah. But yeah, that's in short. That's to answer your question. It's been different, but it's been an adjustment, and you got to decide. Okay, we're just gonna roll with this. We're just gonna roll with this, but we're gonna always stay in agreement. It may not be what I have idealized, but it's something me and her agree to, and we're working with.
It kind of sounds like y'all went into it with an open mind. Somewhat.
Yeah, to a degree. I'm not going to lie to you. I was shocked. Again, the shock of it all. Like,
sound like he was shook.
You got a keyword here.
That's an accurate description, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
you're taking me back.
Yeah, like you're shocked out of this because again, no child is alike. Right? That's the thing that we don't account for, right? And I hear parents with multiple kids say, "Man, you can have it great with kid number 1, but kid number 2 though." Throw all that out the window. He's shaking his head because he can relate to that. So it's interesting. It's interesting how, like I'm looking at my house now. Like I've had to go to a place in my head to where I'm like, I was joking with my homeboy. He was at his girlfriend's, and I was looking. We were doing war report, and I looked at his background. I was like, man, I miss those days when my house looked.
We had like posters and stuff up?
No, it looked neat.
Oh.
It just looked neat.
What is that? What is that?
Right. Like I just looked, I was like, oh my God. That is just
some resemblance
it
of
looks
order.
so like you look so calm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just wow.
Yeah.
And Walker got to use the virtual background on his screen.
Listen, I joke about. I was like, this little agent of chaos in my house. I clean stuff up. She dumps it right back out. Like it's like, yeah. It's just it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. But anyway, to answer you, that was a long-winded way of saying, it's different.
You were shocked. We got
it. Yes.
What about you, Gad?
You talking about expectations with kids?
Yeah, like you're like, I'm sure you had like.
Oh yeah.
You thought what fatherhood was gonna look like.
Listen. 2 kids was always a prayer. There's a prayer we agreed on. I still wanted 3, but whatever.
Not too
We
late.
agreed on, but I wanted the 3rd one. That's funny.
Not too late.
But no, I had this vision of my wife being like, I mean, she still got her career, right? But she's still gonna be like super mom, carpool mom, fully invested in school, PTO president. Like
that's funny. Yeah,
it was just like the aesthetic of it all. And I learned years down the line, like that was a false sense of some kind of identity of a man that I was building in my head. False is the key word here. But yeah, like 2 kids. She was gonna be dropping them off to school, picking them up at carpool. And reality is, it's almost the opposite. Yeah. So like, it's me that's involved in PTO. Well, not anymore. They kicked me off, or I've talked about it. But I'm coaching. I'm coaching basketball, at least for my older son's team. I'm involved in several other things, and like, it's crazy to sit back and think about it. Like, when we had our first kid, my expectation that I still didn't voice at that point was that my wife would be doing all that stuff. Now, fast forward to now, do I feel any less of a man doing it? Absolutely not. Would I change anything considering how we are right now? Absolutely not.
Let me ask you a question. You did premarital counseling, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Did it?
Explain that answer.
Well, I mean, I was there, bro.
You was present. You showed up.
Dude,
you showed up.
I could go watch the Lakers practice And then I could come out to the back here to the YMCA
Mm-hmm.
and still get cooked up. I went to practice with the Lakers. I watched them practice. I watched Bron.
Okay.
Does that make me better that I'm watching them practice?
Why do you think? Okay, let me ask you this. What was your attitude about premarital counseling at the time?
Let's get through it. Let's get this over with. Oh, you're not going to marry us until I do this? Let's check the box.
Okay. Versus your attitude about postmarital counseling.
At the time or now?
Postmarital. Now you're going to counseling with your wife and y'all have been married a few years.
Yes.
What's your attitude now?
I'm here to dunk on everybody.
You're here to take advantage of it.
Yes.
Okay. So is it, and this is for you guys, I'm asking, is a big part of our problem that we have convinced ourselves that we'll just figure everything out in the marriage? We'll worry about it when we get there, as opposed to truly grasping and coming up with a game plan for how we're going to tackle it.
Yes. Because, Walker, we're men trying to operate in this society right now, in the Instagrams, in the TikTok society, right? We're men. We're going to figure it out. We're going to talk about it? Nah. Do we have expectations? Yeah. Who's going to know about them? Nobody. Because society is grooming us to feel like that's easier. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we in here. We going to get the ring because I guess it look cool. But the work? Nah.
Is it, well, let me ask you, is it I'm going to ask you this, Black. Is it this?
I'm engaged with you and you bringing him into the conversation. I'm locked in.
So, Gat. Do you think that men have bought into this romanticized idea of relationships in that love will see us through? We will work it out as long as you're by my side. I haven't even wrapped my mind around the potential landmines that lay in wait for us. But as long as you're by my side, it's you and I against the world, love will see us through. Typically, when you refer to that, you think about women having a romanticized idea. But are we guilty of having a very romanticized idea about love and relationships as well?
100%. Okay. And the only thing I would add to your question is we're forgetting about the most important thing, and that's us.
Sure. Well, I think there's this idea, and I think a lot of men have it. I understand where it comes from, but it comes from it's rooted in the belief that I am prepared for marriage. So of course we're going to figure it out. I wouldn't do this if I didn't believe that I could do it. Right? So it's a, I wouldn't say you can argue it's an arrogance to an extent, but I'm ready for marriage. So what I'm hearing in premarital counseling is great, but I know this woman. That's why I'm marrying her. We're going to figure it out. Is there an arrogance in there?
Oh, yeah. I know this woman. She loves me.
It's a fine line between being confident and sure, because, again, you have to assure, assuming you did it the old-fashioned way, you have to assure her parents and family.
Sure. Yeah.
Because really and truly, the whole courting process for men is an audition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In order to get their blessing, I'm auditioning for your daughter, your sister. I'm showing that I can provide for her. I'm showing that I can keep her safe. I'm showing that I can lead in the courting process. So when I come to you with my intentions to marry her, I've proven that I can do this. I got this. Is there a fine line between that arrogance and confidence there? that sometimes we kind of spill over into the arrogance part that we don't. I'm gonna make a point in a minute, but we are looking at marriage from the single side of the fence. That makes sense?
Oh yeah.
Thoughts on that? Thoughts on that, Black?
I was sort of thinking about it from a different perspective because I think as men, we're not used to things being easy. So if you put us in a situation like that, something that's like, we inherently thinks that we have to work hard to achieve something. So like, if you're in a relationship or marriage and it's not going your way, we're gonna stay around because like we didn't expect it to be easy to begin with. We felt we were gonna have to work hard to get to where we wanted to go. So that's how it's like. And once we get into a relationship, like men, I think in most cases men will commit to that relationship and stay in that relationship even at the expense of themselves, because we think, and it could be like you mentioned, the arrogance, like I can make this thing work, I can figure it out. But I think we go into it not we're assuming like it's gonna be work. It's not gonna be easy.
Sure. What I'm saying is the arrogance comes into play is where we think
We
our
can fix
hard
it.
work can compensate for whatever she's
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I've been guilty of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Probably
Yeah.
still am guilty of that to a degree. Better, but still kind of guilty.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So that when I say arrogance, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I do acknowledge that point there. That's a good point, Black.
Do you have something, Gad?
Of course I do.
Hold on, you got anything else, Walker?
No, go ahead, Black. Go ahead.
I do this to myself too. That's the thing. But I think playing on what you said, when a man decides like I'm ready for that, what is fueling that is my question.
Mm-hmm.
And I know with me it was fueled by, oh, well, he married to her, they look happy. This is how they do. They two married, they look happy. This is what they do. Strictly external. Because I'm not gonna see what happens when you go to your house. You know what I mean? And is that important? Kinda, I guess. But bro.
Yeah, I mean, it has its significance, I would think.
Yeah.
It has its significance because you see people who look miserable on the outside, and so you don't want to look like that. And I doubt that they look miserable on the outside and go home and just be like in marital bliss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there is some value in, at the very least, not necessarily lacking of substance in your relationship, but at the very least, everything should be, it's almost like a person who's fitting in shape. If you're doing a lot of the right things daily, it's going to manifest on the outside, but the focus shouldn't be the outside.
Right.
It should be the program and system you put in place to live a healthy lifestyle.
Because conversely, we've seen those people that look like that are struggling internally.
Or they took the road. Well, they took a cheat code.
Don't do that.
Do what?
Anyway, you're being disrespectful.
How am I being
I
disrespectful?
know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
You talk about the needle mommies.
How's that disrespectful?
That's another podcast for another day. But Walker, here's my thing.
Didn't they go to a doctor and
They tried to skip a few steps to get to their goal.
that happened? Whether they want us to know or not.
My point is, and going back to what I was saying, the thing I would, and this is part of what this podcast is it's part of our goal as a podcast, but like when I see you and your wife, and it looks like y'all got something that I may be interested in having in terms of, finding that in my own spouse, and I look at him and his wife, and I looked at, I got to take that next step as a man and come to you and be like, hey, look, I see your marriage. It looks good on the outside. Can we meet? I want to know what it takes to be a husband like you.
Okay.
And then like that could uncover a lot of things.
Sure.
If that man and the other man have that relationship, of course. If you're just a random stranger, then yeah. But that's where having this community is important. Community of men, and like, let's talk about this, because the real thing is, once I got into marriage, it went through my trials. It was like, it took a lot of courage and it took a lot of life for me to surrender all that comes with that, and be like, bro, like, I'm really struggling right now. Mm-hmm. And then you hear from other men like, oh, bro, went through that too. Oh yeah, man, I went through that too. The next thing you know, you're in your garage, afraid to go in the house, talking to your co-host of your podcast for 4 hours. 3.
And a half.
Felt like a whole day to you, though.
I know he was on the other side of the phone like, yeah, go home.
I need to charge my phone up, Gad.
Right.
But that's all I'm saying. Like, it took a lot for me to even get there to share that stuff with you. So it's just kind of like, I want men to be equipped with everything they need to know before they just look at it on the outside and say, oh yeah, I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I just, the concern there is just, I think a lot of dudes wait till like the house is halfway burned down.
Again.
To do that.
Me.
You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, it's okay to be mentored. It's okay for other men to be able to speak. And
it's okay to ask for help.
And I think too, what I think the biggest help that comes from this is when when you come to someone that you actually admire what they have in their relationship, and they're able to tell you, man, you see the finish line. You don't know what we had to persevere and go through to get to this point. Like, we have to work, and that's what you got to do. And I think that's the best thing that the mentor in this dynamic can share to the mentee is that, listen, man, you got to do the same work that I have to do. You have to work on yourself the same way I had to work on myself. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't have it all figured out. But if you do the work, if the two of you commit to doing the work, you'll get there. It's not going to happen automatic just because you dream about it or y'all want it or y'all together. I got to do the work. If the mentor does their part in that and the mentee takes that to heart, knowing that this is a proof of concept who I'm talking to, this person has done the work. They're not gifted with something, right? They ain't just got it like that. They had to work for it. They'll begin to really drill it into men's minds that, okay, I don't have to wait till the house is almost burned down to try to save it. I can start building in necessary checks and balances to make sure we're on the straight and narrow. Thoughts on that?
I mean, that's the formula. That's the recipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mentorship is definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have to start making counseling cool again?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
But to that point, Walker, we can make it cool without using the C word.
Okay.
We can make it cool by just being present. I've been blessed to experience that here in the past couple of years. Just being present with this off and these on. And dude, you'll be surprised how long that goes.
Yeah.
And it's a building trust situation.
When I say cool, I'm saying counseling, men don't have to look at counseling as something that's emasculating.
Right.
For them. Counseling is not an admission of failure. Counseling is not an indication that you don't have it together. Counseling for you and your spouse or even fiance is the same as you going to the doctor to get a checkup. You don't go to the doctor to get a checkup because, at least you shouldn't, because your body's failing you, right? You're going to get a checkup because you want to be proactive in your health. You're prioritizing the health of your body, right? You're going to counseling pre and post because you're prioritizing the health of your relationship. You're acknowledging that the two of you aren't going to try to do it by yourself, because no one is successful who lives on an island by themselves. There's no success story where people figured it out all by themselves. No, they had people in their life to help them. And your marriage is no different in that regard. So whatever expectations, whatever challenges, unrealized expectations, unspoken expectations, you can take that to the doctor, the marriage doctor, and work those things out. And hopefully, if you vetted your doctor, they'll give you back things that they can hold you accountable to that will aid in your development. So when I say make it cool again, I'm saying, to your point, being engaged, but also understanding that counseling is not meant to emasculate you, it's meant to empower both of you.
Bro, to that point, to put a little bit of icing on that, even LeBron got a coach.
Facts. He's had several over the course
Come
of his
on, man.
Several. Absolutely.
You mean to tell me I'm here? Jordan. Yeah.
Brady.
What?
The person that come to mind was Brady, because people say, like, even though he's won 7 Super Bowls, he still needed a coach.
I'm done here. I can't do it. It was enough. It was enough for me to put your guy in here. It was enough. And you showed me that love back. You put my guy in here. And then you got randoms putting random folks in. No.
You mean the GOAT?
You triggered him. That's really what that was.
And I'm here for it.
And this is who you wanted to talk to. I see. Now you got J's on, for Pete's sake. Anyway, but that's all. I ain't got Brady's on.
No one does.
That should tell you all you need to know.
Wow. Are we good?
No, why do y'all do this to me, man? Why do y'all take advantage of my emotional state?
Why do you keep showing up for us to take advantage of it is a better question. Usually you're supposed to answer a question, not with a question, but I thought that was appropriate. Okay. A better question is, why do you show up for us?
Mission accomplished for both of y'all.
What I had to do with that?
You're guilty by association.
Well, you got to keep this big old easy button on my desk. I'm going to hit it every time.
Dude said Brady with his chest.
Not to go.
Well, okay, I'll put it to you this way, since we're going to briefly sidebar
here we go. This should be interesting.
You seen any statues of Brady anywhere?
Wait for it.
No, have you?
Haven't seen any.
Do you abide by a book that says tomorrow's promised?
No.
Okay, so all we have is right now. Are there any Brady statues anywhere?
That's the barometer
That's a
for
question.
a person's greatness.
No.
I'm just asking.
No. I need you to answer my question first.
There's no statue of Tom Brady anywhere.
Thank you. Now,
Okay.
what's your question?
Okay, do you have to have a statue to be great? Because
No.
Dwayne Wade got a statue, and we're going to say
Stop.
that he's better than CLJ.
Stop.
Okay, you can drop that mic now.
He just got a statue this
You're
year.
choosing violence today.
Nothing against D Wade,
You know that statue's trash, and you don't want to say
but
it.
he got a statue. You can say it's a trash statue. You're the one being disrespectful. I just said he had a statue.
You said it
You're the
without
one-
saying it.
You're the one adding an adjective
Walker,
to his
I've
statue.
known you for 38 years.
No, you
I-
don't. No, you do not. Now, I just said he has a statue. You added in all the color that it was trash. I said nothing of the sort.
Anyway.
My point was he has a statue.
Let me be
Does that
respectful.
mean he's the GOAT?
I'll be respectful. Answer your question. It doesn't make him a GOAT, but is a heavy ingredient.
I disagree. We'll talk about this offline. That has nothing to do with the topic of I guess you're expecting me to agree with you.
I expect you to agree with me.
So let's talk about how this didn't live up to your expectations.
Well, I didn't voice them, so that's back on me.
Just saying.
How did we get there?
You and your feelings.
It was him. It was him the whole time.
It
Y'all
was
don't
your
want to.
feelings.
It
It
was
was your
him.
feelings.
It was him.
It was your feelings.
Acknowledge it was him.
That was a nice touch, though. To bring up Brady, knowing he's a Jets fan, that was masterful.
Y'all know I'm struggling.
Oh, I sent him something the other
That
day
was
about the Jets.
masterful.
Y'all know I'm struggling, man. Y'all don't care. That's okay.
'Cause you don't care.
I can't.
No, you don't.
I wouldn't be struggling if I didn't care.
You don't care that much. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm not. You're good. You're good. You're not okay?
Send help for your resident Jets fan.
Do you have anything else to add to the topic of discussion?
Just give us a quarter.
Wait, you already have one.
Who? Tyrod?
Y'all have a Hall of Famer.
Green Bay has a Hall of Famer with a statue.
Oh, he has a statue?
I don't know. I'm just saying that for a fact.
So that means he's the.
I just said it was an
So
ingredient.
you got the GOAT on your team.
I said it was an ingredient.
Wow, he has something that Tom Brady.
I
Can you
never
look that
once.
up? Can you look that up and see if
My thing is, you can't be in the GOAT
Is there,
conversation
Aaron
without a
Rodgers'
statue.
statue?
yeah, see if he has a statue. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, but
He does not.
Let's
He does
I'm
not.
praying. I'm praying he does, for the sake of this conversation.
You can't be a GOAT if you don't have that. Because look, I can drop Nick Saban's name out here. You wouldn't have any, you wouldn't say anything. You probably just start, you know what I mean? Like, that. We're not even talking about that. But Brady?
Yeah, the only statue Rodgers has is like one of those that you get from like
Always.
like a shop that you collect baseball cards and
Oh,
those
gotcha.
kind of cards. It's like it's sitting on your desk.
Gotcha.
I never put him in the GOAT conversation. Let me put that on the record here before we end this recording.
Not anymore.
Not ever. I said we need a quarterback. If we had a GOAT, I wouldn't say we need a quarterback.
I can't.
The Ravens are saying they need a quarterback? Chiefs?
Is that all you need?
It's a front office competence. My gosh. Dude looking on Madden to Madden ratings to determine a trader. Let me look him up on Madden, see if we should trade for him.
I was wrong. He's not okay. He is not okay.
Nah, he only at 82. We ain't gonna trade for him.
He's not okay. He is not okay. Let's just.
My boy said he at 82. We ain't gonna trade for him. He at 82, bro.
You are witnessing a crash out of Ronnie Gatry. I am here for it. This is.
Think I'm okay. Yes, a Jets.
And this all started with Tom Brady.
Maybe he is the GOAT. If he got this out of gap from long distance.
Get me out of here, Walker. I'm about to start turning tables.
Ladies
over.
and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in to this amazing, impeccable episode. Short listen, but hope you enjoyed it. You already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. If you're on YouTube, also you can find us on social media at the THA Tipping Point, one word, on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok. On all three platforms, definitely go out there and give us a follow. And with that, I am Caesar Walker. He is Ronnie Gatry, the triggered one. The guy behind the scenes is Black, and we are the Tipping Point Podcast. Thanks again.